Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. What is it? It's the 7th of June. So we are doing the ever so lovely June market update. Can you have the fairy noise, like when there's like the wand? This is going to be the one where we get it under the 15 minutes. I'm going to be quick, easy, to the point, finished. So, as we all know, the goddamn rates, as you had to remind me of, Al, the rates have gone up. This is the 11th meeting since they started to go up in March 2022, I believe. They hopped 8 times. They held twice, and now they've jumped it again, the 0.25. So we are now at 4.75. That's what your bank is borrowing their money at, and they're layering on the love, and then you're dealing with the difference. So both fixed rates and obviously variable have gone up today. So money's more expensive. Is that gonna hurt the market? Maybe a little bit, but with the amount of inventory or lack thereof, I don't think we're gonna see much motivating numbers going the other direction, as we got some charts here which show the last month and things are up. So the one negative, I don't want to touch on this too much, but is that I believe now that they are going to, just the way the housing market has gone and so on and so forth, there's very well another jump next meeting, which would assumably take us to 5. And more importantly, I initially believed that we would get out of this higher rate environment and slowly trickle down first quarter 2024, and now I'm not so sure. My crystal ball is getting a little foggy because again, he's not gonna bump it up and then bump a rate back down, and obviously we're already halfway through this beautiful year, so things are getting a little murky, if you will. So anyway, that's that. The sales, Vancouver Westside sales. So we have seen increases in sales in detached, townhouse and half duplex, and condos across the board. Detached, we've got a 13% increase in sales. Townhouse and half duplex, a 52% increase. Remember, they were the very hot market in the last market, pre-March 2022. And then, as we've seen, and you'll see from the chart here, they lacked for a very long time, and now it's coming back up. So that middle ground between condo living and detached house living, while people are trying to save and leverage themselves up, is that townhouse duplex market, half duplex. So they're up 52%, and the condo market is up 24% for sales. So things are moving. Again, there's a lot of momentum here, which I'm not surprised at this rate adjustment, because the market has been very resilient. Last year was obviously, I believe, the worst numbers on MLS history. Someone's going to correct me there, but I believe that's the detail, and it'll be interesting moving forward. But this month, and these are obviously May numbers, we're up quite a bit. Now listings, same thing. Detached listing inventory, we're up 34%. This is all Vancouver Westside again. Townhouse half duplex listings up 10%. Remember, a lot of those projects that were getting done before the rate hike, now you can get a townhouse built, or a duplex built in a year, once you've got all the prerequisite red tape, city sucking you dry of all your resources, before you actually start the build, but you can get one built in a year. So a lot of that inventory coming on now, I think, at least that's what I'm seeing, but a 10% increase month over month in townhouse half duplex inventory on the west side, and then a 29% increase in condo inventory. So people are seeing stuff moving to the degrees that we saw before. There's a lot more. Again, the next 30 to 60 days will be quite telling to see if things hold in this direction based on this latest increase in the rates, but I'm confident things will hold activity-wise, because we're just not seeing a lot. And keep in mind, detached, 34% increase. That's only 80 new properties. 10% increase in townhouse, house, duplex, that's only 11 new properties. Condos, 29%, that's only 242 new properties. So there is an abundance of people on the sidelines waiting, willing to take these rates, still have their 30, 60, 90-day rate holds from the past, and they're comfortable jumping in at these rates. So there's still not, even though these percentages sound like they're on the higher end, it's not like there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of doors, if you will, coming to market as options to buy. Things are still very tight. So that's those. I'm not, as you know, going to go into all the other stuff, tenure this, tenure that. With regards to sales and this, I am going to jump into something similar to that at the end, though. Mortgages. So I've talked to a lot of, I'm not a mortgage broker, so I don't like talking about it that much, but I've talked to a lot of mortgage brokers all the time, really, but in the past few days before this, just seeing, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 to 3 year rates are the new 5-year rate in the low interest rate environment, which is very common across the board. So a lot of people looking to get into 2 and 3 year mortgages, assuming by that time rates are going to be cheaper, so there's no point in locking in for a full 5, especially at these peak numbers. Someone's going to call that out as well. It's not peak of all time. I know that, 1981. See, Al, I was born in the last 21% interest rate environment. What does that say about my need the world's need for me to get here? Even in an environment like that, and my dad built houses, so he was well into this. Just a dire environment, they had to get me out here. So when everyone was holding 5-year mortgages before, that has now turned into 2 and 3. And again, asking what's the climate of the market saying with their forecasting of what's going to happen. A very common assumption, which is what I had as well before today, was early to mid 2024, we're going to start seeing those rates come down again. And I know, as I've always said, 6 to 18 months it takes these rates to tentacles of these rates to find their way into the market on all levels. It's not just HELOCs or lines of credit or mortgage rates that's affected here. Obviously, it's the cost of doing business across the board when money is involved. So it takes time for them to get in, and another reason why I no longer think, because if they're still pushing them up now, and I do believe they'll go up again at the next meeting, I do think now they're going to get to 5, I didn't before, that they're not just going to dump it right back down after 6 months when it hasn't had enough time to fully dive into the market. So that's kind of a general opinion of what's going on out there, and that's that. That's the market. It's up. Listings and sales are up. There's pressure. There's still multiple offers happening, not on everything. The cheaper you get, though, the more likely it will be, as long as they're priced correctly. And last but not least, I wanted to just dive into something interesting, 10-year trends on the market. So the 10-year trend on single-family detached housing in all Vancouver markets, the highest return in a 10-year trend was Squamish at 216% return. So if you bought 10 years ago, obviously running on average numbers here, you have returned the most had you purchased in Squamish. Second to Squamish is Maple Ridge at 170.4%. Now, let's take that perspective, outskirt, I'm not going to call them villages, but outskirt communities at, again, 216 at Squamish and 170% at Maple Ridge. Let's compare that back to the expensive stuff. Vancouver West Side, 59% growth. Now we're growing on different numbers, of course, but you're not seeing anywhere near the growth, almost a third for these higher end communities. West Vancouver, 56.4. So quite interesting. One other aspect of that, that's detached townhome. Your highest return in the last 10 years has been Whistler, 222%, followed by Squamish again at 1.87%, 187%, and then Vancouver East and West for townhouse, Vancouver West 95%, Vancouver East 108% in a decade. So these are all, of course, very good returns, averaging with these essentially 10% plus a year. But interesting to see where these all fall. And then last but not least, of course, apartments. I should have pre-written all this down. Your highest return was blended between Port Coquitlam and Pitt Meadows at 171% over the last 10 years, followed swiftly by, yet again, our beloved Squamish at 180%, and then Whistler at 170. So, quite interesting indeed. That's it. We're wrapped up. I don't have anything else for the people today. If you have any 2 cents on the 2 things. A, are they going to bump rates next meeting? Drop that comment below if you would be so kind. And B, do we need monthly market updates? Drop those comments below, just yes or no. If I get, you know what I'm going to do, Al? If I don't get at least 5 yeses, that should be very easy. 5 yeses, I'm never doing another one. So in 1 week, I need 5 yeses written in the comments below. And if I don't get that, we're done here for the monthly market updates. And that is a wrap. See you maybe next week.